But that taught me a lot about myself. I believed in what I was doing, and I knew just keep going, the right people will come,
You make sure you hire on values, not on just skill. Like being, sometimes we get to a worker and we'll be like, oh, you'll dismiss everything they're doing because they're good at what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that'll kill the company culture because you'll end up with just this person, and all the people who are good at, who have the values that you want, don't stay because they don't want to be around this person.
Exactly. No, that's 100% true, and I've actually made that mistake before.
Yeah.
So yes, I hire on values, and not just because they can bench press 580 and move the whole house.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. If you're on time, respectful, professional.
Welcome, family, to the Black Businessman Podcast, where we interview Black men who are making money and making an impact. Right? What's going on, Chris? Good? All right, good, man. Chris Brown, yo. How long is that message to you in your lifetime? I gotta always ask that, man.
Man, I've been bothered by this since I was 7th grade. 7th grade.
All right. We're going to dive into that, but he had a trucking company, and we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into his story, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to see how we can, of course, we always do as we do on the program, talk about how we can make it better or how do you want to improve it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So give us a background. Give us a little story about yourself and how did you get into the trucking business?
Well, first and foremost, man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. For the listeners, my name is Chris Brown. I'm from Florida, played professional basketball, and how I got into the moving company. I came home from Spain, and I was just kicking it. I was just chilling. And, I started picking up moving jobs myself. So I was the mover. And I had people, I'm watching these guys I'm moving with break people's stuff, be unprofessional, come on the job drunk, smelling like weed, just horrible. And I thought to myself, I can do this, And so that's what I did. I took one step, took 2 steps, and now I'm sitting with the man himself.
Oh man, you the man. You, like I said, you built this company about probably 2-3 years now. We've been on it maybe 4 years. So, and just seeing you build a company, watching you grow. Right, we hadn't talked in a long time, and a lot of things have been going on. So, when you first started, you said you could see it happen. What was those first steps like? What did you go from? You say you just started picking up jobs. How did you start picking up jobs?
And so, in terms of me being a mover?
Yeah, being a mover.
So I was going on Craigslist, and I would just type in day jobs or something like that, just to have something to do during the day if I'm not training. And it would be moving companies looking for movers. And so they would respond, and I would go meet them at the location, and I would just be a mover.
Okay, all right. And were the companies unprofessional, or was it just the other workers you were with, or what was the case in that?
Well, in some cases, yeah, the company itself was very unprofessional. The owner would come out at times, and that taught me in that moment. For some of them, it starts at the top and it trickles down. Mm-hmm. And so most of the time, however the workers are, more than likely
that's the ownership.
That's the ownership, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how that was. But in other cases, it was just guys who didn't take it as serious, and maybe because it wasn't theirs, they come for that dollar just to get out. And I understand. Obviously,
they were there for the day. The owner didn't impart a vision into them, right?
Exactly.
The owner didn't say, "Hey, this is what we're actually a team." It was like, "I just got you for the day, and that was it."
Exactly. Yep. So from there, I'm a person that whatever I put my mind to, I'm going to accomplish it. That's just who I am. That's how I am. And so you hear me say a lot, I'm top to it or not to. And that's a lifestyle. Okay. And so as I'm here working with these guys, I'm just thinking to myself.
Explain that, I'm top to or not to. Explain that.
Yeah. So lifestyle, top to or not to, for me, what this means is whatever I set out to do, I'm going to accomplish it. I'm going to write a goal, I'm going to set a plan, and I'm going to follow it day by day until I see it happen. And I give myself a time frame. So for example, going overseas. Mm-hmm. This is the craziest story ever. I had never written a goal before. I've always just in my head, just stuck with it and made it happen. I sat down and wrote a goal, wrote it all out in detail, what I'm eating, how often I'm eating. everything that the food has in it, what time I'm getting up, what time I go to work, what time I'm taking showers. It was
Detailed list.
very detailed. I stuck with it. I'm up 3 a.m. working out, go take my shower at the gym, go to work, get off work, work out again, make sure I'm eating in between. It took less than a year for me to go overseas.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Just being detailed with
Just being detailed.
I always tell people, your 1 year of dedication of your life will change your whole life, right? Just 1 year of dedication. If you take that 1 year, you say, okay, I'm going to set the goals. Forget about the results. Right. Just what are the activities that you know you need to do, and just count yourself doing those activities. Because a lot of times that hinders it, because it's like, I'm not on track to meet the goal, right? But it's like, all right, I'm just going to focus on the activities. This is what I said I need to do. Do I need to knock on 100 doors a day? Do I need to look up 100 people? Do I need to make 100 phone calls? What do I actually need to do? And just having that detailed list, you knew exactly what you're doing, just doing those activities. Even though you had the goal, it still accomplished the goal if they just doing the activities.
Exactly.
Now, so coming back from overseas, you were on the job, you have it. What made you go from being a day laborer? You said you could do it. What was the vision and then the reality of starting your own company?
See this is where it gets funny. So I was hired to help a guy with a semi truck unload maybe 20 pieces, maybe. And it probably took 30 minutes, and he gave me $100 for it. And so at the time, I'm like, $100 for 30 minutes. And as he's pulling off, he says, Chris Brown, I appreciate it. If you want to get rich, start a moving company. And he just took off. So I'm sitting here, I can still hear it. I still hear him saying that. And I just paused. I sat in my car in silence. I drove back home in silence. If you want to get rich, start a moving company. And I just hear this for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm telling my wife over and over and over and over. And so how I got started, I went to one of the, I was working with one of the guys, one of the vanilla worker, and he told me about an app called Thumbtack.
Yeah.
He was like, look, man, get you a card, put maybe $30, $40 on it, set you up an account, and go from there. That's all I remember him saying. So I found Thumbtack, and it was 2 of them. So I'm like, I don't even, so I Thumbtack Pro. This is for the
actual the company.
Exactly.
Yeah, for the service provider.
I went through the motions. Man, I was only charging $100 an hour with no minimum.
Yeah.
So whatever I got is what I got.
Yeah.
I got my first bean. I followed up, got the job done, probably made $400 in 4 hours. Yeah. And so I was like, hold on, $400 in 4 hours after the overhead, maybe $300, and it just went from there.
So working with Thumbtack, how long did you stay on there for?
I was only on Thumbtack. I was on Thumbtack less than a year.
Okay.
Yeah, started at $100 an hour. Then it was me and this other guy. We just used to, once I get a notification, I follow up and get the job done, get paid, and I kept doing that. And I actually was the #1 go-to guy in less than a year in the Stone Mountain, Snellville, Lilburn area. So I was getting a lot of calls, And I remember talking to a guy named I'm gonna call him Mr. A. His name's slipping my mind right now. You met him before. He owns a moving company as well. And he was like, Chris, you're leaving too much money on the table. And in my mind, I'm like, bro, I'm all right. I'm doing about 3, 4, 5 jobs a week and $100 an hour.
Good, yeah.
And so I ended up just continuing to do that. I recognized I ain't getting a lot of money on the table. So as my confidence built, started upping my prices, and I just continued to grow from there. And I ended up leaving Thumbtack, making a Google page, getting with Angie, and just posting ads, and things just started rolling.
But what made you leave Thumbtack though? If it was so successful, you rolled it.
It was overly competitive. Mm-hmm. I had to keep my race low in order to, because I believe that when people go to Thumbtack, it's just looking for the best price. It's not about quality. It's nothing. It's all about price. So, it was time to grow.
No, I totally understand. With the cleaning company, it was the same way. We started with Thumbtack, probably got to 100 reviews on there, and then it was just a price thing, right? And I've used Thumbtack. My strategy was to use Thumbtack to get reviews, right? We use them for Google reviews, but we also got reviews on Thumbtack. Thumbtack automatically sent out for reviews.
Right.
And so we were using them, but once we got enough reviews on there, we started running ads on Google. We had left Thumbtack because, just like you said, people just wanted the cheapest price, and they're just going on there, and it's a bidding war, and that same lead is going to 8 people. So and Thumbtack just making their money by charging everybody. It's like, hey, we're charging you per lead, and you end up if you don't understand your cost to acquire a client, you could end up not even really making any money on the job because it costs you so much to acquire a client. So I definitely understood that. So you left from Thumbtack. How long did it take you to hire your first person?
How long did it take me? Not long at all. My first person actually came from Craigslist.
Okay.
So I put out an ad on Craigslist because at the time, this is all I know. And the guy that I was working with initially, I had to fire him. I had to let him go. For a number of reasons. And he was the best worker to this day I've ever had.
Yeah.
But that taught me a lot about myself. I believed in what I was doing, and I knew just keep going, the right people will come, And so I ended up,
You made sure you hired on values, not on just skill. Like being, sometimes we get to a worker and we'll be like, oh, you'll dismiss everything they're doing because they're good at what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that'll kill the company culture because you'll end up with just this person, and all the people who are good at, who have the values that you want, don't stay because they don't want to be around this person.
Exactly. No, that's 100% true. And I've actually made that mistake before.
Yeah.
So yes, I hire on values, and not just because they can bench press 580 and move the whole house.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. If you're on time, respectful, professional, you can speak to the client, and if that's not your strong suit, cool. But you must be on time. You must be professional, and you must be clean cut.
Yeah.
But that's just what I desire in my workers.
Yeah, that's what you want to present. That's your brand, right?
Exactly.
I always say, what is your brand? It's the identity that you have, for yourself internally and externally, right? When people leave out, when people are talking behind your back, right? They're like, and I always say talking behind your back, not enough, bad or good. Somebody still talking behind your back, right? They're praising you, but it's still praising you behind your back. So they're like, hey, that company is great. They're always on time. They show up. Your reputation, referrals, everything. There's a secret conversation going on about every business that we don't know about. There's people, when you leave that client, they're like, yeah, what happened? You just moved your house? Yeah, I had this great company. They were amazing. And they came in, they were on time, respectful. The gentleman was so nice. You don't even know this conversation going on. And then you get a referral 6 months later. You're like, where did this come from? Oh, I talked to Miss Jenny and she said you were amazing. And you don't know that this whole conversation's been going on for 6 months, right? She talked to her then. 6 months later, she called her back. And she said, what was the name of that company again?
Right.
Oh, this was that company and they were amazing and you need to call them.
Exactly, yeah.
So we always have to be aware of our reputation. Anybody can move a house. Anybody can clean a house. But not anybody can show up on time, be respectful, be polite, right? Making the customer feel welcome, and safe in their home, right? We're men going into a person's home, right? They have to feel like comfortable. So there's a lot of things that I worked for a movie company one time, so I understand how it is, when you go in there and do those things.
Right.
So you hired your first person. How did you come up with the values that you wanted to have, those values that you wanted to have for your company?
Well, I just looked at me. I looked at how I was brought up, how I was raised, and what I've gotten back from people over the years. And, respectful, on time, hard worker, polite, makes me feel comfortable. And I just thought about it. I'm like, when we go into a stranger's home, all of their personal belongings are there. Everything they own is in this place. We could be anybody, but we're not anybody. We're Brown's Pro Movers. So when we step in here, we're smiling, polite. You don't have to wear cologne or anything, but don't smell.
Like you just came off the park bench last night.
Right.
Shower in 5 days.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly. And,
at least neutral.
Neutral, exactly. And if you're not a great speaker, that's perfectly fine. Just wave, shake a hand if they're comfortable with that. If not, read the room and, just kind of wave your hand. We introduce ourselves for sure. And if I'm present, I like to maybe crack a joke here or there just to kind of loosen the atmosphere. I always find some common ground, and that is I always find a common ground.
Yeah, we're all human, so there's a lot of times we're all human, so there's something, and we look for it deeply. There's something that connects us.
Yep. And if I can't, I just ask a question about something I see. Can you give me a bit more history on this or background on this, and just let them speak and open up? I'm like, wow, and I validate everything they say, and now they feel comfortable. And so that's how I ended up. Basically, this is how I wanted to build my brand.
So how do you practice that with your employees? Like, say I'm not a good speaker, and how do you practice that? How do we go in? How do we move it? How do we approach people? That's something you practice, or is it like something that you hope you can do right?
So it's not necessarily something I'm practicing. Honestly, I speak to the people, my workers one-on-one, just to kind of see how they speak and how they hold themselves. And if I'm present on a job, the ones who are comfortable, I let them say a little stuff here and there, and just kind of go from there. But more than anything, I lead by example on how I speak to them, how I conduct myself, and I tell them straight up what I expect. Even this conversation here, I've had this conversation. If you're not a good speaker, that's perfectly okay. No cursing, no sagging, no smoking, no smell like smoke. Just wave, get your job done. Whoever I put in charge to speak to the client, they know what's going on, basically.
You said you made the mistake before about hiring someone. How did that go? What did you learn from that lesson?
Well,
we should let the names remain innocent, but just we can hear the story.
Yeah, so I'll just say a close friend. I hired someone close to me and been complete animal. I mean, professional, polite, can speak in front of the clients, can do everything at a 5-star rate.
Yeah.
But then not on time. Not on time. And I can understand to a degree, but if you're not on time and I excuse that, now you're not on time, and eventually Brown's Pro Movers is just not on time at all. Right? And so go to have a conversation, and this brother, he didn't want to hear what I had to say. Basically, put up a fight, aggressive, XYZ. It hurt me because polite, professional.
Yeah, he's like, man, just be on time.
Be on time. If I say the job starts at 9 o'clock, why are you showing up 9:15? Don't even show up 9:01. Yeah. Matter of fact, be there at 8:50, ready to go with a smile, locked and loaded, because we're top 2 and we're not 2.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's how that went, man. And it's even hard to reminisce about because this worker was phenomenal to where I was going to use him to open a branch up in another state.
Yeah. But
I thought about it. That I foresaw what was going to happen to that other branch.
Because he didn't hold those same, and like I said, it'll come back around again. Mm-hmm. What I've seen, so we always tear people out just by characteristics, right? For the job. People like to say, "Hey, I'm worth more." I said, "No, your skills are worth more. Mm-hmm. To your parents, you're worth a lot. To your family members, you're worth." I said, "We're not going to count your worth. We're just saying what your skills are worth on the marketplace."
Oh, that's good.
You know what I mean? So it's not so. I don't want to be like, "Oh, you're not worth $20." Like, no. Your skills are not worth that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's all it is. I may not be worth $1 million an hour, right? You know what I mean? Or a game like a LeBron James is, right? That doesn't mean he's more valuable than me, right? My mother would rather have me than have him, right? You know what I mean? So it's just that it's not about value to that person. It's about what skills are you seeing in this arena right here, right? Even LeBron James, I don't know if he can cook, but I'm just using an example. But would he be valuable as a chef in a restaurant, right? In a Japanese, hibachi grill, right? How valuable is he there?
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
So I always say let's value the skills and not actually valuing your worth as a human being. Mm. You're priceless, bro.
Yeah,
it's priceless.
That's beautiful.
So just saying so looking for those skills, what you were saying is that I'm always trying to recruit and go all those skills and keep saying, hey, these are the skills, because they're all teachable, right? Just like you said, it's just, do I want to accept them or do I not want to accept them? right? Moving is just basically, do you have the strength or not, and do you have the agility or not? Once we can get past the, can you actually move something? Everything else, just say when you say, can you actually clean something? Because somebody can't bend there now, they can't bend on their knees, they can't, sometimes you can't scrub, there's certain things you can't physically do. But once we can get past that, now showing up on time, being polite, right? These are all learnable skills. And we're always trying to say, hey, let's see how we can bridge that gap. But when they start telling me, no, I'm not doing that, then we have to part ways. Because nobody, not even myself, can be bigger than the business.
Wow.
Because even if you start showing up late, guess what? The business will fire you. That means bankruptcy. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody can get fired, even the boss.
Wow.
Right? Because how many people have told you can do whatever you want to do?
Everybody. I told myself I thought it.
But you can't do what you want to do, because if you start doing what you want to do, you'll get fired. You'll find yourself back somewhere working, or just not having a business and looking crazy.
Wow.
Nobody can do what they want to do. We all have to follow the rules, because if we don't, we may not see the results today,
Right.
but a year from now, you'll be crazy like, wow, I got more customers. Why nobody calling me? Yeah, because you be late all the time, fam. You're breaking stuff. You're not making it happen.
Wow.
So just thinking about that. So establishing.
This is the man. I need y'all to understand. This man will 10x your business. No. He will 20x your business. He's top 2 and he's not 2. I need you to understand that. So this conversation is just not a ha catch up. No. Understand, when I leave here, there's work to do. Matter of fact, I'm doing work right now as I'm sitting here processing everything that he's putting out.
Oh man,
Wow.
Listen, I think we just built it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sharing my experience with building a business.
But that's the thing. Some people build with that thin plywood. You got that back in the day, oak wood. You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
I love business. You know what I mean? Like I really believe that if we look at the middle ground, because some people are they're anti-business, right? They're like, oh, business is nothing. And then other people are just greedy, right?
Yeah.
And I said, we look at it as a way to impact people's lives, organizing business activities, bringing people in. I know some people don't like to use the word family, right, in business. I said, no, of course, we're family.
Yeah.
It's just that if I have to let somebody go, there's people in your family that you don't talk to all the time, right?
Right.
But I'm saying you're always still welcome to say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? We just understand at this time, we're not compatible with each other, right? And that's all it is. So even with friendship, I'm very careful about friendship, because I always ask myself, somebody, if it's a friend, my cameraman, that's my friend, right? But my first question was, can you do the job? Right? It's not, hey, because guess what? We're gonna fall out. You see what I'm saying? Because you end up not having a relationship because of the business, or you guys are just good friends, right? Because you weren't looking for all those other qualities. So when we can separate that first, yes. But we want to hire you because you're my man. You see what I'm saying? You're like, that's my friend right there. That's my guy. Yeah. I'm like, all right, but can he do the job? Yeah. Because y'all both gonna be mad. Because you gonna have an expectation, and then he gonna be like, why you because I'm just seeing so many different things when we don't hire like that, and then it always turns out bad because people get mad at their friends for not. I said, but he didn't go through the process. You didn't have him go through a hiring sequence. He didn't have to go through an interview process. You didn't evaluate his skills. You just said, that's my guy, come on. Yeah. And then you end up losing both, right, at one time. That's tough. So doing it right there, having your business, what's next for Brown Movers? Where do you want to take it at? Where is it at right now that you see it at? And what are the bottlenecks and what are the opportunities? Let's start with that. What do you think is holding Brown? So let me say the question first. Where do you want to take it? What's holding you back from taking it there?
That's a great question. So I desire to take Brown's Pro Movers. To be honest, I haven't thought of an end goal because I think this could be something that's consistently, that's passed down generation to generation. But I do foresee having at least 5 trucks taking over the Atlanta area completely, because we're top 2 and we're not 2. That's what we do. Yeah. I will tell you what's holding me back. We had a conversation maybe a little over a year. And again, this man with 20 extra business. And it can be 2 words. And if you take those words and apply them, you told me, you looked at me and said, it's time to get off the truck. I didn't even know what that meant. So I'm like, I'm so young in the business, I'm literally thinking of me just not being on the truck, but trying to figure out how to not be on the truck.
Yeah.
Right? And so you gotta get off the truck. You gotta get off the truck. And you started that, but then I started hearing it other places. I'm like, what's the problem? I keep hearing I gotta get off the truck. I'm waking up out of my sleep, I gotta get off the truck. And so eventually I got off the truck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say permanently because there are situations where I gotta step in until maybe somebody arrived or long distance moves. For me personally, and this is something I may need to grow out of, but I use the long distance moves as a time to reflect. So I'm driving 13 hours to Brooklyn, and I have a team waiting on me. Either my team is with me or waiting on me when I get there, and I'm just reflecting. I'm thinking about the stuff you tell me, man, that can 20x the business as I'm driving. And I get there, my team, they'll unload the truck. And I'll be done, sit in a hotel, get me some good food, and embrace the business, I guess you could say, But I will say what's holding me back is I'm off the truck, but I'm answering the phones. I'm responding to emails. I'm sending out contracts. I'm revising the contracts. I'm doing the back office stuff now, you know what I mean? I'm doing my own ads. I'm posting all my own stuff on social media. And I know this is where the man himself comes in, to help.
So, I mean, because those are easy, those are fixes that we had the same problem, right? And I'm giving you all the challenges. I want to say one thing about you driving to New York, driving 13 hours.
Right.
Always keep the parts of the business you love. If you love driving to New York for 13 hours, there's nothing saying that you want to create the business where you can operate as you want to.
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, don't, because people will tell you, don't drive, no, I like driving to New York. So me and my mom, right? So, and I always excuse my mom because we had to build a business together, right?
Yeah.
And just being able to build it with her, I'm a businessman. She loves the business, right? She loves the cleaning, right?
Okay.
So my mom's goal was not to stop cleaning. It was not to have the pressure of cleaning. Right? Because she loves being with the girls. She loves being with the people. She loves to see the customers, right? She always wants to go out and clean once in a while, right? So she enjoys that. So that's something that she wants to go do, and she wants to be able to actually execute it, right? So I'm not gonna be like, oh mom, you know what? You can't clean anymore. That's the business. That's what the business gurus say.
Right.
Nah, do what you love to do. If this is what you want to do in the business, do it because she just doesn't want to be the pressure. If you love driving to New York, if you love the long distance drive that keep your time reflect, drive the long distance. Hey, I'm taking all of these long distance ones. Let's think. Now the admin part. What is keeping you from giving up the admin work to an assistant to anybody?
Okay, good. That's a good question. Well, one, I don't want to shortchange anybody working for me. You know what I mean? And sometimes I guess I don't think I could pay the proper amount to this admin. And two, is a trust thing for me. Are you going to answer the phone how I would answer it? Although it's a training process, but are you going to remember our prices? And certain things vary. It varies, because the way I price isn't common. Though I price long distance based on, I don't know if I need to be giving this out on the internet.
But you have your way of pricing. You have your way of pricing. You don't have to give out your secrets. You have your way of pricing.
I have my way of pricing, and it varies. It literally, when it comes to local moves, it's the same. But long distance, it always varies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, for me, the biggest thing is I don't want to shortchange anybody. That's the biggest, That's the biggest thing.
So 2 answerable questions that you have. Very easy. Number one is we have a Jamaican VA service that we use, right? That's how we use all of our for admin work, right? So we ship that overseas. The second thing is trust, right? So trust comes back to checklists and checking up, right? Having a way to check up. So first you don't have a script, right? And then first you don't give away everything at one time. You don't just say, oh, just admin. I've seen people just say, hey, you know what, just take all that. Because people do two things. They either don't let anybody in or they try to give them all at one time.
Right.
Like, just take over the whole admin office, answer the phones, and they get mad at me. I've done it. Listen, Gina, if you're out there, just understand I apologize, because I was terrible to her. I why are you not doing anything? What's going on? Why you answer like this? And I never gave her a script, right? I didn't show her how to put in the prices. I didn't show her how to do these things, right? And I didn't take them one at a time. First, get somebody, we would look at all your documentation of all the things you have, and you say, okay, first thing I'm gonna let people get the calendar. I just need somebody in here an hour a day to look at my calendar and make sure my workers are getting to the jobs, right? Second, I'm gonna work on my email. I'm gonna make sure all my emails are responded to, and I want you to respond to them in this way, making sure they're responding to the emails, right? And if the phones are the most precious thing because of the local service, so that would leave that for last, right? Where it's like the phones are the last thing I'm building on, but I would build out a script for my phone, understanding, and then saying, hey, so we, when I was in there, the first thing I gave away was just, because we had the same thing with regular cleans, with deep cleaning, just cleaning, the prices were the same. We have a calculator, you can just put it in and get the price. But for Airbnbs, somebody had to go out there. We couldn't just price it. So what we did was they filled out a form, they got all the information, and they would immediately pass it on to me and say, hey, we still do walkthroughs right now for Airbnb. I just don't do them, but we still do walkthroughs for the Airbnb. We did walkthroughs for the Airbnb because they were special. They had to be priced a certain way, and the person on the phone couldn't do them. So you just want to keep relieving that and say, hey, how do I get those prices and how do I do that? But you eventually have to have somebody that prices out your business, because then you'll be stuck on the phones. And you can't be stuck on the phones forever, because then you can't expand. What happens when you open the next location? Are you going to be the one answering for long distance calls?
Exactly.
So you have to, so your goal has to be, okay, I have to have a method of pricing. I have to figure out some kind of method. It's very difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's what you work on, to say, hey, how can I, what have I done? Because you just wing it sometimes when you're pricing, right? Not wing it, but you have a way of doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I was the same way. I knew in my head calculating, because then there's some things that are just like, oh, I put everything together and I understood exactly what I was doing. But you have to sit down and start detailing. Okay, so for every 100 miles, I charge 3 cents, and then you add in gas, and then the gas price is such and such. I don't know, I'm just making this up, but just understanding that, because you have to get to a method. And then the last part is you have to be content with close and not exact, right? If you're doing long distance pricing, it's like, all right, I may lose, because she's taking over the phone, right? And they're pricing, I may get $100 left for this job, right? I may get $100 over for this job. Just thinking about it's going to even out. But how much is your time worth back to do the whole, to work on other parts of the business, to go out and get more business, to open up a new location? Is that worth the extra? Oh, and how many long distance jobs do you do a year?
Okay, let me break it down by the month. So I would say monthly we do roughly between 7 and I would say up to 10.
Up to 10. All right. What's the average you would think for a month?
Average for a month? Or moves in general, just long distance?
Just long distance.
Oh, average, yeah. Oh, I'll say 7.
7 long distance jobs a month, right? So if we did 70, 84 jobs, right? So 84 jobs. So now let's say you lost $100 of a call, right? That's $8,400. Now that means that your time over 12 months, you could lose $8,400. But could you make that money up building your business, right? And I'm just assuming the worst, right? I'm assuming they off 100, you losing $100 every time you get a call. So that's $700 a month. But would you actually make that back doing something else? You want to open up another place, another business, and feeling like you got back your time. And I'm just saying a worst case scenario. I'm not saying it would lose you $100 a month. I'm not saying I'm going to have it like that. But I'm saying you got to think about it, where is my time so valuable? Because we start thinking about, but I might lose, they might not price it right, and I'll lose $100, $300, $500. But over the year time, I'll make all that back, because I don't open up another center that's making me, $10,000 a month. Because now your job is to increase the value that you're putting on the business. And that's only by delegating more of the smaller stuff. Always trying to delegate, always trying to get rid of, but also understanding that I'm going to delegate a piece at a time. We're just talking about the last piece of sales, right? We're not even talking about the first piece, but you have to get off email. You have to get off your calendar. You have to get off the direct communication with your employees, right? The first line of communication where it's like, oh, we're on the job and the person hasn't answered and you're the one that got a call. You know what I mean? Why do you need to call?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a good question. Why do you need to call? Can somebody else call?
Oh, right, yeah. Somebody else, yeah.
Just all those things we just think that we get stuck in. I have to do this. I see my mom do it, and that's why. And then I started seeing myself because she was with the cleaning part, right? She'd come in and I'd be like, nah, they cleaned already. It's all good. They did it. But I said, nah, go ahead. She done been in a job where they cleaned, where they did a real good job, and she was like, because she used to have to go and fix things, right? And she was like, but when she started going to jobs, they were just doing it great. She was like, she felt, what do I have to do? You know, there's nothing to do. But there was other things. Now we're doing work with the training program, building out a training system, right? Making sure where we want to go back, we're rebranding the business, right? All kinds of stuff is going on. So it's like higher leverage things that we want that she can work on now and to expand the business.
Wow.
So that's where the delegation now, the team runs Peter Tahamra, shouting them out, and Monique. Monique is our operations manager, right? Peter, he's man overseas. He runs all the business operations inside in the office. He does all the communication with the cleaners. Any kind of problem that we have, he's the first line of defense. Tahamra, she takes all the sales calls. She posts all the jobs, right? And they work together in tandem. And then, like I told you, I have a team meeting. They have a team meeting every day at 8 o'clock, right? It's just a huddle. Then we have a hour-long team meeting every Tuesday. This is a leadership team meeting to go over the numbers, right? Where we're looking for how many clients did we get this week? How many did we lose this week? How many complaints do we have? How many praises do we have? How many reviews we got? I'm trying to think of all of them. So I still consult the business, right? That's my main job, right? So I'm over there, and the next part right now is that I just tell them, because they'll ask me a question, I'll be like, Clyde, the example today, they were saying it was, we were talking about hiring, right? And they wanted to start people, we started people on Monday, they wanted to start people on Thursday because of pay. They said, Clyde, what do you think we should do about it? I said, what do you think we should do about it? And they gave me the answer. I said, you don't even need the answer from me. Wow. We just wanted your confirmation. No, you don't need my confirmation. I want you guys to make decisions. So what I started to do was just stop not being on the calls, right? Because me being on the calls allowed them to even say, what do you think about this, right? But when I'm not even on the call, because I was in Jamaica, so I was gone. I wasn't on the calls. And I was just, I would come on the weekly call. And they would come on and nobody asked me nothing. Nobody said anything. And I was lost. As soon as they came back around, and was like, hey, such and such complained. They had new clients. Everything was easy. Oh, yeah, such and such, yes. Such and such left. We just hired only 3 people. I'm like, what's going on around here? But I run the business by numbers. Yeah. And so I'm just saying the levels of where you want to go with your business, where you can take it by delegating, and now you're saying, hey, how can I be the CEO organizing the business activities and running the business as coach, right? But you want to be the coach, the coaches, right? So that's what Monique is. That's what Peter is, right? So they talk to the employees. I always, because we have so many new employees now. Well, not new, but people, I won't say new. We have people that have been here where over the last year, I stopped just being in contact, stop dealing with the hiring, stop being the person that people, because before, people were jumping over other people's heads. Right. And they were coming straight to me. Oh, Clyde, because I hired them, right? I was there with them, and I was the boss. So anyways, just showing you the process of where you can take the business and how you're delegating first for safety, saying, hey, I'm gonna just do my email first. Cause you wanna know the energy of the VA you're working with, of whoever you're working with, right? This is gonna be a person that's very close to you every day. So you wanna make sure, you don't wanna give them the whole business right away and be like, I don't really like this person.
Yeah.
You would say, okay, all right, I'm gonna start with my email. Let's see how you're doing calendars. And we start having a conversation every day. Start talking to them. You start seeing their routine. Do they come on time? Are they in habit? Are they good? Right? And that's what you want to look for. And then you can start delegating those things. Then you see, okay, now I can start looking for somebody for phones and they can start advising. So that's what it looks like.
Oh my goodness. That's some powerful knowledge, bro. I could see, just based on what you just said, I could see how me being hands off can actually push I can use these hands now to push the business forward. But when my hands are in there, I mean, I'm tired up.
Because your hands are on everything, right? They can't do anything else. You can't push, your hands are in everything.
Exactly.
It's locked in. That's a good analogy because you're just locked in. Because you're handcuffing everybody else's growth potential.
Man, this is wild. I'm finna 20X tomorrow. Wow, this is powerful. Thank you for that.
So we've said all of that, right? What's the next steps? We've said all that. What can you take from this? What do you think is the next thing that you need to do?
So this is exactly what I'm gonna do. Y'all hear me? Talk to him or not to. I'm gonna get with this guy right here. And he's gonna teach me how to do this. Because right now, I'm locked up, but I want to be like this, okay? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. You can set up a meeting for tomorrow, literally. And I'm going to trust the process, man. I feel a lot of fear. My fear is coming from because when you were speaking, I was embracing what you were saying, but all I'm thinking about is, dang, you got a lot of people to pay. That's literally what I'm thinking. You got a lot of people to pay. Right now, I only have my workers and my assistant. That's it.
They're generating. You got to think, how are they saving you? So there's two things that happens, right? There's two people in the business. They're generating money or they're generating time. Your job, when you get time back, is to start using that time to generate more money. If you're not using that time to generate more money, then they're not even working. You might as well be on the phones. You might as well be. You might as well. If they're not generating you money, you might as well answer emails. You might as well answer phone calls. Yeah. You might as well look at your calendar. You might as well call back the customer because you're not doing anything else to go generate money.
Exactly.
You're not. So you have to say, okay, when I get this time back, you have to have a plan for that time.
Yeah. I can't just go drink mimosas and eat brunch during this time. I gotta really.
So the first time I got my time back, right? This is what happened to the business. The business maintained without me. It didn't grow. You know what I'm saying? So you can get it to where the business will maintain without you, because nobody else knows how to do revenue generating activities. Right. So now they don't need me. They have a flyer program. They have a marketing program. They know how to make sure that because the business grows without me because we mastered the hiring, client retention, employee retention, right? Making sure that we're doing the marketing, offline, online marketing, right? So all of these things are growing without me. You know, because I already have a joke so we do ads and stuff like that. So, and it'll be like, and I'll come back and I'll see a bill, because we spend about 20,000 in ads every month, right? And I'm like, how much? 20,000? I mean, learn the lower end, so
that's lower end?
I mean, if you spend 20,000 in ads, right? Or you got to think about this, right? Our ticket is lower than yours. So when we spend 20,000, we're looking to get recurring clients. We have to wait a while before we're seeing the money, right? So our average client, the average lifetime value of a client is 2 years, right? So we're averaging $3,600 per year per client. They make it for $7,200. So we have to see what are we paying to get a client? What's the cost per client that we're acquiring, right? So we have to hold on all these numbers to be able. So when we spend 20,000, it takes a while to come back, right? But now we're in a place where it comes back easy, right? So sometimes we don't have to spend that much money. Sometimes it goes down where we don't have. It's just coming on more employees, and I go through 2 phases of the business. One phase is getting more clients. Then when I get a lot of clients, I stop because now what we're doing, we have to make the cleaners better.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just be like, oh, we just keep adding on a lot of people. But no, make the business better.
Mm-hmm.
Make the employees you have better. Wait till you have great employees. Because if you just wait till if you say, all right, I got 6 A players right now, right? Then you bring on 5 more okay players, right? You got to be out there. Things ain't going right. You just keep piling on jobs. But you're like, no, we get enough jobs now. Let's make these 5 great. Let's wait till we get 5 more. Not even these 5. Let's say we have to go through a lot of people. We want to wait until we get 5 more A players. You only build your team on A players. You want them to be so good that they could go somewhere else, but you pay them good enough that they stay with you.
Talk to them, not to. Wow.
That's how you get it. That's how you become top, because now you want to be able, because you can charge more, because you know we don't break nothing. People gonna refer us. Listen, so people call us, right? They be like, well, I got Maria, and Maria can say, and Maria charges me, $10. I said, ma'am, do you want cheap or do you want great? Because you can't have both, right? We're coming in detail. We're gonna hit every corner. Do you want cheap or do you want great? Because we're gonna come back if we make a mistake. Right. We're gonna send a whole nother team. We're gonna make sure everything is done correctly. We're gonna reimburse you. We have insurance. Do you want cheap or do you want great? And that's what I have to make sure, because you have to be able to say the value, not just from myself, but from the clients also. But that's about it, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, let them know where to find Brown Movers, man.
Wow. Listen. I'm a little closer. Browns Pro Movers. Instagram is Browns Pro Movers. You can find us at www.brownspromovers.com. You can find us on TikTok at Browns Pro Movers. Call us. We'll answer. We'll be there. We'll wrap your stuff. We'll move you from Chicago to Hawaii if need be. We'll move you from here to there, anywhere. Talk to, and we're not to. Give us a call, 470-786-8687. Looking forward to serving you.
Right, man, y'all heard it, man. Browns Pro Movers. We only promote excellence here. We want to be the best in anything that we do, right? Because we understand that once we try to be the best, there's no competition. Ooh, not there is. You know what I'm saying? There's only other people. Because who wants to be great? Most people want to be average. Exactly. All right, man. Thank y'all. Black Businessman Podcast. See you on the next one. Y'all stay focused, stay blessed. Peace. Appreciate having you, brother.